Hey everybody, Tanya from Shooting Star SVG back, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Etsy Star Seller Badge. So if this is your first time here, go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos so that way you can grow your business and change your life. And if you haven't already, go on over to the Facebook group where we are creating a community of like-minded individuals looking to grow their semi-passive income with digital downloads. So there's been a lot of chatter about this new Etsy Star Seller Badge, and a lot of the conversations have been coming from people who create physical products. I do believe that this is going to greatly impact them. And there has been a few videos up on YouTube about by people who solely focus on digital with a few things that really aren't that accurate. So I just want to clear a few things up. I want to go over everything that Etsy provides in the back office, show you guys what my Star Seller Badge looks like, because I'll give you guys a little insight right now. It's not that great, and we'll go from there. As you know, I do have two shops. I'm going to focus on the larger shop just because it makes more sense for me. But I do hit the metrics to get the Star Seller Badge on either if I meet the requirements. So I'm going to head over to my computer screen and we're just going to go through this together. If you guys have any questions, we can have an open dialogue in the comments section or in the Facebook group. So let's get started. So we have this nice little area now in the back office called Star Seller. You can see that here. It is new. And it says that it is celebrating the best in customer experience, okay? So on the first of every month, they're going to check, they as an Etsy, to see if you are a star seller. And the way that it works is they will look at a 3-month period. So it is a 3-month rolling period, okay? This is going to launch on September 1st, so they will be looking at the previous 3 months ahead of September, and then so on and so forth. So October, they'll be looking at July, August, and September. And these metrics will change daily, but they don't reprocess results until the beginning of the month. So 3-month rolling, very important for you guys to understand that. So, right now you can see my metrics up on here. I have 96% 5-star ratings with a target of 95% or more, which supposedly I'm doing fantastic. And 64% message response rate. Now, here's where I get a little bit leery. I don't get a ton of messages, but I have the Etsy app on my phone, and I know for a flippin' fact that I respond to every single message within 24 hours. So I truly do not believe that this metric is being calculated appropriately. So hopefully Etsy will look into that, because my response rate is not being accurately depicted right now at this point in time. So you can see that it is a 64 message response rate. Supposedly I did not reply to 4 messages after 24 hours. The only thing that I can think of for this is that I didn't end the conversation and somebody else ended the conversation. And you'll see when we go through each little section of how Etsy explains this, that Etsy specifically mentions 24 hours response to the first message. This is clearly not the case with things going on in my shop, okay? And I've heard this from other people on Facebook groups and in the forums and on other videos about this particular thing, but hopefully Etsy will hear us complain enough and they'll fix it. So here it talks about that Star Seller comes with rewards. You're going to stand out from the crowd. You're going to have some shiny badge on your page, much like, the bestseller badge under some products. More chances to be featured because they'll be promoting Star Sellers to buyers starting later this year. So I guess there's going to be more to come on that. And opportunity for increased sales, because it's saying great customer experience matters to buyers, which could lead to more sales and growth. Unless people are really weighing it based off of this Star Seller. Am I going to purchase this from a Star Seller versus this from somebody who's not a Star Seller? I'm not really sure the psychology behind that, okay? So what does it mean to be a star seller on Etsy? It's a way to recognize and reward Etsy sellers who consistently provide an excellent customer experience, okay? So they understand that responding to customers quickly, shipping on time, high ratings, things like that generally tend to get people to come and continue to come back. What they don't take into account for this is there are extreme shipping delays out there. Some people don't even like to use tracking. So For the people who don't use tracking on their physical products, they're going to be penalized for this if they're not utilizing some sort of tracking system or Etsy shipping labels, and I just don't necessarily agree with that, okay? Here's the criteria for becoming a star seller. On the first of every month, they'll determine if you become a star seller by looking back at the last 3 months of your shop's performance, okay? So they look at the response rate, as we talked about, that's 95% or more of initial buyer messages. I'm calling horseshit. Shipping is 95% more of your orders shipped within your stated processing time and with tracking or with a shipping label purchase on Etsy, okay? 5-star ratings, 95% or more. I think we can all achieve that. And then order sales and tenure. You have to maintain at least 10 orders around $300 in sales depending on your shop currency. So for some people in the digital land, this could be tough. You figure if you are calculating your price point at about $3, we'll just say to make it even, you would have to make at least 100 sales over the 3-month period to even qualify for this. So for some of the newer shops, this may be very hard to reach. For me, it's not an issue, but I know that for a lot of other people, you know, just starting out, this is just not attainable. So physical products, it's very attainable. Digital products, there's a little bit of gray space there. The data is updated daily and is heavily influenced by factors that you can control. So they do mention that carrier post office delays will not negatively impact your score, but we'll see. Canceled and digital orders won't be included in your score either, and the cutoff time for your expected shipping dates is based on your time zone. Providing, you know, the valid proof of shipping is something, and the message response rate, again, they mention it being the first message from a buyer, not ongoing conversations, but I'm really finding this hard to believe, okay? So then it will go talk about benefits. They will be recognizing sellers who meet the star seller criteria with a badge. It'll be shown on the shop, signaling to buyers that they can expect an excellent customer service, okay? More opportunities to be featured in buying market and opportunity for increased sales, since we know that customer service is important for buyers. So this is an assumption. The assumption is that if somebody sees, again, a star seller badge on your shop, that they're more than likely to purchase, which I don't really think that's the case. Okay, so how do they decide on what's needed? Always doing research to find out what they look for in great shopping experience. And, you know, these are some of the things that Etsy decided are important, which is message response rate, shipping, ratings, and order sales and tenure. Tenure meaning how long you have been on and are providing good customer service to people. So again, based on conversion rate data from initial buyer message, I don't believe it. Okay, will star seller criteria be introduced over time? And it is likely. So this is brand spanking new. I guarantee you Etsy is going to tweak this as time goes on, okay? And again, does star seller impact my search ranking? And at this time, it does not. However, that does not mean that it might not in the future, especially with all these crazy algorithm changes that Etsy's been implementing over the past 7 months. And they ask how you can view data on individual orders, and you'll be able to download a CSV file that breaks down your shipping performance, making it easier for you to see which orders are impacting your score. Thankfully for us as digital sellers, we don't have to worry about shipping. Now, there was another video that I had watched a little while ago that talked about custom orders and how that impacts your shipping performance because they have to mark it as physical. That is not true. I create custom orders all of the time for individuals, and I do not have to deal with the shipping because they're still shown as digital products. So that does not even show up on my metrics because the shipping is not something that is involved in a strictly digital shop, okay? So if you're creating custom orders and you're listing them as physical products in your digital shop, then yes, your shipping metric will be affected. You will never reach 100% because you never ship anything out. You never have to track anything. So if you need help creating custom order requests for individuals to make sure that you're not affecting that metric, let me know, okay? So this is just, you know, the star seller, how it works, and they talk about it here. Etsy talks about it here, and there's some terms, okay? And this is kind of what's important about this. You know, these are these questions as well. Where is it? Where did I see it? There is the ability to fill out a survey. I highly recommend everybody fills the survey out. I'm going to go fill it out right after I'm done creating this video because I personally am not a huge fan of this star seller badge. If I'm forced to choke it down, I'm forced to choke it down. But it's not going to affect my performance in any way, shape, or form. I do not believe. So they do have a star seller terms and conditions that I do recommend that you all go through. The biggest thing, you know, they talk about the qualifications, the star seller assessments, which we just spoke about, especially with the 3 months prior, the badge itself, okay? And it says any use of the star badge is not specifically allowed by these terms is not permitted, okay? And if you have misuse, it could lead to revocation of the badge. Revocation. They'll take it away. Okay? Qualifying as a star seller does not give you any ownership or other proprietary rights in the star seller badge or other Etsy intellectual property other than as provided in these terms. Etsy retains all rights, title, and interest, and the star seller badge and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So your responsibilities, indemnity, termination, disclaimer, limitation of liability, severability, and updates to the terms. They do say somewhere in here, and I'm trying to find where it is, that you cannot utilize this outside of Etsy. Basically, they're saying that you can only use this star seller is only going to show up on your Etsy shop. You cannot take that star seller and go put it on Facebook or put it on your advertising or do anything like that. They will take it away, okay? And if you're not following the terms of use, you know, that could lead to a whole other slew of mess. So that is the nitty-gritty on the star seller badge. I'm curious to know everybody's thoughts on this. I'm not a huge advocate of it right now. To me, it doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form as a digital seller. I don't think it's really going to benefit the physical sellers either. I really think that this is Etsy's way to push people into tracking, also buying Etsy labels. I think they're going to use this to push more weight on offsite ads, which they take too much anyway with the offsite ads that I'm forced into. So, you know, I'd be curious to know everybody's thoughts. Really, to me, it just gives a really bad misconception of, you know, sellers in general on Etsy, because I think shops that don't have a lot of sales, that are just starting out, are never going to reach these metrics until they're more reputable. And then sellers who have been selling for a really long time and get a lot of orders, it's going to be hard for them to upkeep that 95% rating in some things, especially if they're doing physical products. And then the people that are kind of in the middle may or may not benefit. So I'm just not seeing it yet. So I'd like to have an open dialogue. Let me know what you guys think in the comments box below, or head on over to the Facebook group where we're creating a community of like-minded individuals looking to grow their semi-passive income with digital downloads. And if you got anything out of this video, go ahead and click on like and subscribe below, as that does keep me motivated to continue making these videos, so that way you can grow your business and change your life. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out if you guys have any questions, and I will catch you on the next video.